Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Keyed In, and I am in front of The Nest. This is a great space we have been working with and partnering with The Nest, and the reason it's such a great space, it is a co-working space. But not only is it a co-working space, it is a women's specific co-working space. It's a co-working space that's all about empowering women. And so you can come in this space, do whatever you need to do for business, but they've also got amazing during the day and after hours events. And there's no better time to talk about that than Women's History Month. We're partnering with The Nest this month for something very special. It is an event honoring Arkansas's very own Daisy Bates. And while we're talking about Arkansas's very own Daisy Bates, how cool is it that The Nest is actually located on Daisy Gatson Bates Drive? That's right, it's so appropriate that this space that is created and dedicated to women, owned by women, for women, is on Daisy Gatson Bates Drive. A woman from Arkansas who made great leaps and changes, not only just in Arkansas history, but in American history. Daisy Bates, in and of herself, was a civil rights pioneer. Most people know her for being the leader, being the guide, being the mentor to the Little Rock Nine during the Central High crisis. And she did that in the face of fear, in the face of mob groups, in the face of hate, in the face of racism. But not only did Daisy Bates do that, she was the state president of the NAACP. Talk about a woman leading. She led the charge. And as we continue to talk about Daisy Bates, she was the only woman to speak at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom at our nation's capital. Arkansas women always lead. I love Daisy Bates' story. As I think about what it must have been like for her and a crowd of people to stand up and say that African Americans needed and deserved justice, and that we were not going to wait for it, and the March on Washington was a job to share the importance, not only with the African American community, but the world. Daisy Bates is a true icon and leader, and I am so excited to be partnering with The Nest to hold her event, and I feel so honored to be standing right here and a part of the foundation of her history and legacy. The event that we're doing with The Nest is entitled Honoring the Legacy of Daisy Bates. And it's so important to talk about legacy and what leaning into legacy looks like, because the story and the life that Daisy Bates led is not just important but relevant to us, but it's also important and relevant to our daughters. We want to teach our daughters that in the face of adversity, that in the face of challenges, that we don't back up, that we continue to move forward, that we continue to progress for equality and for justice for all women. So partnering with The Nest, a space that's dedicated to that and that honors that for this Leaning Into Legacy event, is perfect. And what's even better is that the museum has a pop-up exhibit in the space as well, Legacy Forward. And so what we wanted to do was really enrich this project and really give people an idea of what leaning into legacy looks like, not only through the eyes of Daisy Bates, but also what it looks like in the eyes of several African American women and artists. So we, in this little pop-up exhibit, are showcasing African American women who have made great strides in history in Arkansas. And so when people come to The Nest for this event, they're able to experience leaning into legacy through the art and some of the pieces and collections that we have at the museum. It all flows together perfectly. So you know this is Keyed In. This is our chance to connect. I cannot let you leave without giving you the deal about everything that's happening at the museum. Got a new exhibit coming up. It is 50 years of hip hop, and the beat don't stop, celebrating 50 years of hip hop. It opens April 7th. I'm so excited. I want you guys to come. When you talk about amazing dynamic programming, you're talking about this exhibit. Not only is the exhibit from the National Hip Hop Museum going to be extraordinary, but all of the programming that we have along with it that's going on in April and May, it's going to be something for everybody. Not just for the old heads who like hip hop, but for your children as well. 50 years of hip hop is something that you definitely want to come and check out on April 7th. It's free, but also bring your kids out for the programming as well. As we wrap up Women's History Month and March, I am so inspired by Daisy Bates. But you know, we don't celebrate just women's history in March. We celebrate the amazing achievements and accomplishments of African American women all year long, because it is on the shoulders of our ancestors that we stand to continue to share and preserve the history of African Americans in Arkansas. Until next time, guys, stay keyed in.